to teach you about Dr. Elbert Cox and Keisha Howard on roots. But where are my manners? Let's start off on who are we? We love museums and learning about Black history and love sharing what we learn with others. And everyone deserves to know their history, and parents will build confidence in your children and inspire them to read stories about real life heroes and sheroes. But first, let's hope everyone have fun. Number 1, listen to the speaker. Number 2, email us when you have a question. Number 3, and explore the books shared today. But most importantly, number 4, have fun. And number 5, the last rule, share what you learn with others. Our first root Shero is Keisha. But who was she? Growing up geeky resulted in her developing interests that were very different from her peers on the Chicago's South Side. She studied psychology and communications at DePaul University, and after discovering people who looked like her were not being represented, Keisha created Sugar Gamers, an organization that advocates for all people who are underserved or not being represented, such as minorities and people from the LGBTQ community. She regards video games as more than just entertainment, but a system for ideas and processes that can move and inspire people to action. Keisha says, can we teach kids to make a game instead of being a consumer all the time? Can we talk about other skills that are enhanced? How did Keisha reach her goals? Keisha named her company Sugar Gamers because she loves candy and sweets. Keisha's work with Sugar Gamers led her to a national television appearances on shows like Sci-Fi Channel's Robotic Combat League. Keisha got to meet some of her heroes like George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, and Stan Lee, the chief architect of the Marvel comic. I can relate because I like those people too. And Keisha never lost a sight of home. Keisha uses the skills and contacts to empower the women and teens of Chicago. There are over 2,000 people connected to the Sugar Games all over the country. Keisha first fell in love with Laura Croft from the Tomb Raider game at 10 years old. How was Keisha successful? Here are some of her awards that she earned. One of the awards are for Women in Diversity FYD Collective Award 2019 FYD FWD Award winner, and the Honorary of Black Creativity Museum of Science and Industry Innovator 2019, and NAVShow 2019 nominee Providence of the Year Live CGI. She was also included in the Mool magazine, as you can see in the picture. Now that's not all for Keisha. We could learn more from Carmelo from MIT, who will teach us on how to recreate our own video game with coding. Enjoy.
It's me, Carmelo. Video games are fun to play, but have you ever wanted to make one yourself? How can I make a character run and jump on the screen just by pressing some keys? Just like websites or the apps on your phone, video games are just computer programs. We make them by giving instructions to a computer or to a video game console. And these instructions can be stored in your laptop hard drive or even in a CD-ROM. And are things like make a character appear in the middle of a screen, or when the player hits the up arrow key, make the character jump. When we want to give instructions to another person, we use a human language like English or Italian. But unfortunately, we cannot speak to a computer the same way, because for now, computers can only understand simple instructions, and they're very picky about the way we word things. In order to give instructions to a computer, we need a programming language. Just like human languages, programming languages can be very different from each other. Many rely on text, so programmers can write words that give instructions to a computer. Let's say I wanted to create a very simple video game where a character moves around the screen. One of the first things I need to tell the computer is that when I hit a certain key, the cat goes up. If I want to use the Python programming language, I could write instructions like this. This language looks boring, but actually it's not that complicated. For example, here is where I say that whenever the computer detects any key press, if the key is the up arrow key, it needs to move the player, our cat, 0 pixels horizontally and 5 pixels up. To understand the directions I just gave it in Python, the computer translates them into many more simpler instructions. Eventually, these instructions get translated into machine language, whose alphabet is made of zeros and ones. The processor, which is the computer brain, can understand and execute machine language, sending back the right graphics to the screen. Even a simple instruction like move up 5 pixels gets translated into hundreds or thousands of simpler instructions in machine language before the computer can understand and respond. And all this happens in fractions of a second. Other programming languages like Scratch, which is developed here at the MIT Media Lab, are visual programming languages. Instead of using words, in Scratch, you can drag and drop blocks together in order to make something happen on the screen. For example, if I want to move a cat around, I would do something like this. So if I wanted my cat to go up 5 pixels in Scratch, I would snap together 2 blocks like this, and I can do the same with the left, down, and right arrow keys. Also, I can play with instructions, and I can say that when I click on the cat, I can change its color.
That's the video. I hope you learned something from it. We were not able to watch the whole video because we have another hero that is named Elbert Cox. But who was he? Elbert was born on December 5th, 1895 in Evansville, Indiana. Elbert's father was a teacher and his mother a homemaker. He had 2 brothers, and his grandma also lived with the family. Albert went to a segregated elementary school that did not have textbooks or fun. Albert's teachers still had high standards and promoted academic excellence among children, and Albert's dad believed strongly in education and passed that down to his sons. Albert married his wife Beulah and had 4 children. The purpose of the Euclidean, thanks Mom, circle was a mixture of faculty and students within the mathematics department to discuss mathematical questions, to share information. They initiated Cox, thank you again, on March 15th, 1915, as the first African-American student to the group. How did Albert reach his goals? He became intrigued by the newly formed math department at Indiana University and applied and passed all math tests for admission with ease. His teachers noticed his brilliance for math and included him in the prestigious Euclidean Circle. He soon graduated Indiana University with 4.0 in mathematics. While at Indiana University, he found acceptance at the fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi. This African American fraternity helped him feel included in college. A fraternity is a men's student organization formed chiefly for social purposes, having secret rites and a name consisting of Greek letters. How was he successful? After teaching for many years and military service, Elbert was admitted to Cornell University. He spoke German, Latin, and Spanish, helping him earn PhD admission. So, if you could speak 3 languages, that means you're trilingual. Elbert used his skills to create strong mathematics departments at several historically black colleges such as Howard University. He published 2 articles almost impossible for African Americans at this time, contributing to the field of mathematics. He taught young mathematicians for 46 years, often carrying chalk in his pocket to demonstrate difficult math problems on the sidewalk. Elbert Frank Cox was the world's first African American to receive a PhD in mathematics. And Cornell University founder states at Cornell, any person can study any subject regardless of their race. Let's learn more about that interviewed my Uncle Chris, who also graduated from Indiana University with a degree in mathematics. Hope you enjoy this.
Hello. So I'm Professor Ernie, and this is my Uncle Chris. And like Elbert, he had a math degree. So, Uncle Chris, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you for having me today, Ernie. So a little bit about myself, as you've heard before. There are some overlap between me and Elbert Cox. One, we both were born in December. He's early December, I'm more later December. Next, we're both natives of Indiana itself. He was from Evansville, Indiana, and I'm from South Bend, Indiana, also where Pete Buttigieg is also from. The other thing is that we both are graduates of Indiana University, where he got his bachelor's in applied mathematics, as I did as well. So one of the main things you saw in the photo was that Elbert did not have a lot of other African Americans in his classes. That's one of the things that I did see in my classes as well, was at times I was the only African American in upper level math courses. In the first year, freshman year, there were some others, but eventually as time grew on and I got more deeper into my education, I began to see I was the only African American there in the classes. So it did at times make it a little bit difficult. As you can see, some groups begin to form based upon that particular criteria. My peers did not exclude me from the classes, though. They always were helpful, but at times it's also good to have others who look like you in the classes. But it did not deter me from also trying to complete my education. As Elbert, also his father, went and saw his father passing on a strong education and believing in education. My father also was an educator. He taught for many years in the high schools, as well as he was my high school principal for all 4 years of my high school career before I went on to college. So having that distinction of a father pressing his son to get an education and saw the importance of that, I too saw that as well. So there was some quite similarities between me and Elbert Cox, but I do not think I am him. But I do see that, the one thing about math is having a passion for it. And that's why I went into it, to get my education in applied mathematics. I love math. I love doing the problems. I spent hours in my undergrad trying to figure out a problem and solve it until I could get to the answer. So that was one of the things that I think that Elbert Cox, because in order to pursue an education, you have to have a passion for it. Otherwise, you almost, like, in my opinion, maybe wasting your time. But my applied mathematics has been one of the greatest things, the greatest achievements I did was completing my bachelor's.
Thank you, Uncle Chris. Now, I had 10 questions plus a bonus for your math degree. The first question is, what made you accomplish getting a math degree?
Rigorous, and I would say practice makes persistence. It doesn't make perfection, but it does make persistence, and persisting towards a goal will help you achieve it. So part of that was always doing every single math problem I was assigned to. For every homework problem, whether it's an odd problem or an even problem, you just did all the problems, because you never knew in your exams what kind of problem you would be presented with. Some were from either earlier in the course, some later in the course. So you had just to make sure you were prepared for anything and everything. So, because the professors at the college level will test you to make sure that you are adequate enough and have very rigorous practice in doing your problems. So the thing I'd say for anyone who wanted to pursue the education is practice, practice, practice.
Excellent. Number 2, who helped you achieve the goal of getting a math degree?
It was quite a few people. One was, again, my father, who told me to pursue an education. Also my mother as well, who told me to, son, you could do it. You're brilliant, you're smart, you can get that education. Another part that helped me achieve that goal was my professors at Indiana University. They encouraged me, as well as were a very open door policy when it comes to having a question or needing help. They were also there. One of the things I'd say that at the college campuses at Indiana University was there was a math department where they have math assistants. Sometimes if you early on in your career in the math degree and pursuing a math degree, you have tutors that would help you out. So that's another resource I had available to me. But the biggest thing was that my professors, who were always open and always willing to help at a moment's notice, specifically only during their office hours, though. I just want to stress that point.
Right on. Number 3, were you good at math so you could get your math degree?
To be honest, my nephew, I was not good at math at all. I mean, I saw in college there were people who had a natural ability to do math, and I was just not one of those. But I wanted to get the degree because I just loved math. I just love doing it. I love solving the problems. I love the complexity. I love how with math, you could come different ways to solve the problem, but there's only so few steps to come to a correct conclusion based on your math performance. So as much as I like to say, people think I have this math degree, this math genius about me, but that is far from the truth. I just, again, practice, and make sure that I was able to understand every math problem and kept practicing until I just was good at it. So again, I just, like I mentioned earlier, my practice made persistence, which it helped me achieve my goal. So I would say didn't have a knack for it, but definitely made myself obtain the skill set necessary to practice.
Excellent. Number 4, did you want or were you encouraged to get your math degree?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
did you like want to have your math degree, or were you encouraged to do it?
I would say a little bit of both, actually. One was, again, enjoying math, but also those in the math department, my professors who encouraged, they saw the benefit of having an education in math. And so they would always tell me, hey, here's the career options, very good employment opportunities also in the near future, also good salary options as well, good pay. So, having my professors encourage me, and also those in my family encouraged me as well, my parents who believed in education and believed that could excel me to the stars. So those two together, I'd say a little bit of both that helped me achieve my math degree.
Excellent. Number 5, did you have tutoring for extra help on accomplishing your math degree?
I did have some tutoring help when I thought I needed it. The tutors here at Indiana University were especially helpful when it comes to explaining problems or trying to make sure that I grasp the concept before sending me on my way. So yes, I did have tutoring at times. At some point in the math degree, there is that tutoring can only go so far, and it's just specifically at the freshman and I believe the sophomore level, you do have tutoring. Once you get to the upper level courses like your junior and senior year, the tutoring is not so much from the campus university. You really have to go to your professors at that point and then get that upper level knowledge from them. So I'd say your first 2 years, freshman and sophomore year, would definitely be tutors from other students who are hired by the university. After that point, junior and senior year, when you get to more of the theoretical aspects of math, you get the, sorry about that, you have to go to your professors, because at that point, the education you're receiving is so far advanced that most people, unless they've either received a PhD or a master's degree in mathematics, cannot adequately explain it to you to that point to understand, in my opinion.
Right on. Did you ever have breaks when you're tired?
Yeah, I had breaks in education, but I always kept pursuing my degree in order to finish. So there were a slight period where I had to take a break from it, and that's only when you're trying to study for 7-8 hours trying to see the problem. So you walk away from it, but then you come back and you try to just walk away, take a slight break, but then you get back to it and finish the work. Because eventually, the only way to really get the education on a math degree is to actually just solve the problem. So regardless of how many hours it took, slight breaks here and there, and I would encourage anybody else to, so that way you don't stress yourself out. And sometimes taking a slight break does help one in trying to solve a math problem, because you come back with a fresh set of eyes and you're like, oh, I should have just done this right here. It helps you think of the problem in a different aspect, as opposed to just sometimes working straight through the problem and not getting anywhere. So I would say breaks at times helps one solve math problems.
Good. Number 7, how could you squeeze in this time of school after working so hard?
When you have a passion for it and you enjoy it, you don't really think of time as one where it's like I have to separate one from the other. You can times blend the two. The times that you enjoy doing a certain activity, to say your free time, could be the one thing that you also enjoy doing as well with your study time. So if you it helps to have a passion for math, but also is one where you have a passion for it, and also your free time is spent on studying mathematics. So I would say sometimes you can blend the two, but also with anything else, any goal you want to achieve, proper time management is just the best key. So I would say make sure you always carve out some time to do a couple math problems, at least a couple hours a day. That way you can build your skill set in mathematics, solving math problems at different and various subjects adequately. So I would say proper time management helps you achieve the goal.
Excellent. Number 8. Did you have homework so you could study more?
Oh yeah, plenty of homework. If you didn't have homework, every day in college, there's always going to be some homework because they'll go over a subject in class, but then the professor will assign a certain amount of problems that will then be on your final exam as well. So, you'll have homework throughout the whole entire process of getting a math degree. And so what you want to do is you just take those problems and just, again, practice. But yes, homework, it will be an essential part of getting it. But once you've done the homework and you understand the material afterward, it ends up being a breeze on the final exam.
Oh, and number 10, are you proud of yourself for achieving and getting this goal, like getting a math degree? Are you proud of yourself?
Actually, I'm very proud of myself because obtaining a math degree is not easy per se. One, a lot of people hate math. Once you go throughout their life, you hear people say, "Oh, I hate math. Oh, I never was good at it. Oh, it's none that came easy to me. I never could grasp it." So even though, some people may start the program or may start to pursue the degree, they pick other subjects like say business or maybe another different major. So that's the first thing I was proud about, was that I'd say for my graduating class of, I'd say about maybe 500 to 600 people, the only ones in my class who had math degrees that graduated were about 3 of us out of the whole class. So the school may have been very big, but also we were a very, very small percentage of those who obtained an actual math degree when I graduated. So 3 people out of a whole entire, say, again, 500 or 600 is a very, very low percentage. It's less than 1%. So when you have that, it makes you kind of proud that most people would cringe at or be afraid of or back away from. I chose to take it head on and conquer it and make it something that I only knew, but also add a skill set in. So I would say I'm very proud of having a math degree. And also, I believe that it also helped me stand out as an applicant when I went to the real world with that education, because then other employers could see that I have an aptitude for in-depth knowledge and a deep understanding to understand complex things and put them into, I could explain it to an audience so that way they could then understand it. So I would say having a degree in a subject that, again, may seem, well, to me it wasn't hard, but to others it may have been hard. I would say it's a very big accomplishment.
Good. Oh, do you like bonus questions? Would you like to try the bonus question?
You know what? Because it's you, Ernie, and you're my nephew, I would absolutely love a bonus question because I love talking about math. And I hope that maybe, nephew, that you may want to go into math as well. So I'm kind of want to give you some good answers and good pointers, and hopefully, hey, like your uncle, you can go ahead and get the math degree too. I mean, now you go do what you want. I mean, I'm not mom's there, but I'd say, hey, math is the way to go. Wait. So okay. What's the bonus question?
Did you get a medal or a trophy, or maybe when you complete high school or college, they give you one of those scroll things with a rope on it?
No, not necessarily. For me, it was a big accomplishment because, again, not a lot of people I knew have math degrees, and which is a very rare education to get at that level. So never had a degree, but the obtaining the degree itself was, I guess, my own personal medal. So, and I would say that anybody who wants to obtain that sort of education definitely has earned, in my opinion, a huge medal because, not a lot of people get it because, they say math is hard, which And really not. If you study hard, you persist at it, you practice, you can make that math a skill set of your own.
Okay, thank you. And that is all the questions I have.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the Third Institute for having me today. And thank you, Ernie, for this opportunity to be interviewed by you. And for also the great information I learned about Elbert Cox. I never knew that he and I had so much in common. And you have a good day, nephew.
You too, Uncle.
Well, that was very descriptive, had a lot of adjectives. Uncle Chris, excellent video. But you can also learn more about reading Keisha Howard's and Elbert Cox's articles. There's not that many books about them, but we put these interviews up so you could read all about them and know more and read all the information that we didn't even share today. And next class on August is another throwback. And on August 28th, all day on YouTube, we're going to do Misty Copeland and President Barack Obama. We're going to do them again since before COVID, we did them in person, like the activities, snacks. We did them in person. So we're going to do them so we could post them on YouTube, but I'm not going to do it. There's going to be a guest presenter. Mom, can you tell them what it is?
Shh, we'll keep it a secret. Gotta come back.
Yep.
Thank you.
But that's not all for today. We have questions.
And make sure you email us.
Oh, yeah.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.